Well, okay, let's get started with our first topic. Eric, do you want to? Well, I guess this is more of just covering
Eh,
the E3 press schedule, going through
yeah,
the bullet items because we've gotten more of it revealed. It's kind of oddly slowly rolling out. Usually by this time, before E3, you have like a full on here's who's going first and whatnot. But now it's like piecemeal
people
and
are like, here's my information.
yeah, so it starts next week, and the major things that we should be paying attention to
Late
are
next week, right? The end of next week.
yes, it's like it goes into the weekend. So on June 12th, Ubisoft will be doing um, their thing.
Yep.
Probably to talk about the next Watch Dogs if they've got one, and the next Assassin's Creed if they got
Assassin's
one, and
Creeds. Yep. Ooh, Rayman. Do you think there's going to be a Rayman?
I'd love to see a new Rayman,
Same.
but that will be at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. for you East Coasters.
Yep.
Um,
That's a Saturday for those counting.
yeah. The next press schedule to go up will be that Sunday, and that's a big one. It's Microsoft Bethesda. It's because I think they're looking at it because usually Bethesda has their own thing, and Microsoft usually has their own
Oh yeah.
thing. Now they're one company, so they're kind of doing like a joint thing. It's going to be 45 minutes of press conference. They're going to be at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Pacific. That's 1 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah. So that should be interesting. These are all part of the official press schedule. What starts getting weird is the next one. Do you want to go over that one? It's because your favorite
I
company.
I do. Nintendo Direct showing up on the 15th, Tuesday, at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. So I know I'll be taking my lunch at that time. Uh, but yeah, that's a little bit later than the others.
Well, they're
Um,
they're on their own thing because they're doing the Treehouse, which is like
yep.
or whatever the Nintendo Direct and a Treehouse actually. But they promise it's going to be long. They promise it's going to be mostly titles that are going to be dropping this year. So there probably will be good announcements because right now their like holiday lineup of titles is really sparse. Um,
Yeah.
so uh, most likely because there's a new Switch that was supposed to be announced today, or at least that was what was rumored.
Rumored.
It
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet, so it might happen during the stream. But
Well, wouldn't that be fun?
yeah, wouldn't it be? But yeah, they have they said it's mostly going to be stuff releasing this year, all of which has probably been quiet because it's going to be releasing on Switch Pro, and they didn't want to say it or whatever they're going to call the next Switch, or like the upgraded whatever. Either way, it's supposed to be a big one. Because it's a Nintendo Direct, it doesn't follow the E3 press schedule. It just it's an online event that happens. Um, Even weirder is
Yeah.
EA
The-
Play, which happens like an entire month later, which it was announced for July 22nd. No time slot yet scheduled, but that's when you can expect the EA titles to be announced. At least the ones that they won't show at E3 during like the act, like the playthroughs and all the press events that happen with that. So it's weird. It's like a whole month afterward. I guess they're trying to avoid the more packed press schedule. And then Sony has no announcement yet at all. So they did the gameplay reveal of Horizon, and Herman Holst has been doing interviews, but there's no press event scheduled currently for Sony, um, which is weird. So
Yep.
given this press schedule so far, notice anything kooky about it? Weird?
Yeah. The giant hole in the middle.
There's yeah, that and Sony still hasn't announced anything yet.
Yeah.
That's
Like less than 2 weeks out. Right.
not only that, but like Summer Game Fest, which is like sort of
Oh,
pushed forward by
yes.
Jeff Keighley and um like his media like efforts that he pushes forward because he does like
Yeah.
he does the game awards and whatnot. Um they did it last year because E3 didn't happen. But they like the announcements still were planned and whatnot. So Game Fest happened around the same time to sort of take the place of E3 and bring in developers where they could be talked to and they could show off their games. That's still happening. So now we have like E3 and Game Fest like trying to share time. So it's getting very odd. Like
Yeah.
I think it further codifies like my feelings on E3 and how relevant it is when you have things like Game Fest and you have companies just sort of doing their press schedules whenever they want, opposed to clustering it all within like a week period.
Yeah. I mean, it seems kind of like it's becoming a game week. It doesn't matter what if it's E3 as a conference or some other media establishment. It's just, hey, we're just gonna everybody's gonna go up on the internet and talk about games for a week.
Yeah, it's like they
Just
acknowledge
announcements.
that these announcements need to be happening the summer because it's it gives opportunity to all the publishers to talk about their fall games that we may or may
And
not know
build
about.
hype and expectations.
Yeah, at a relatively good time frame that puts it close to when the holiday shopping would start. Gives it like adequate time. People can do pre-orders, all that stuff. With the only exception being like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo kind of charting a 1 to 2 year outlook on their respective hardware. So like, yeah, I think Game Fest is kind of the right idea, which is like, don't try to pigeonhole it into one thing. Like, just give a platform for developers to be able to talk about their games that they're preparing, and let the major publishers do their press schedule whenever they feel like it.